All right, so what is up, team? We are diving deep into a topic that I haven't discussed in a couple of years, and that's buying internet-based businesses. Over my 20 years of being in the space, as y'all, most of y'all know if you've been hanging out here for a while. My very first business was an internet-based business called Cool Wall Street. It was my very first acquisition that opened me up to this whole world of just realizing, wait, you can go out and buy income instead of having to go and get a job to make it instead of having to try to build it from scratch. So that was the very first thing. But over the last 20 years, I've gone in and out of doing these deals. And in the last 2 years, I haven't talked about them or done any of those. Despite the fact that I've done personally at least 50 acquisitions in that space. And I love those acquisitions because they're just amazing to do. They're great building blocks for a holding company or just a portfolio. You generate this passive cash flow. All these things are amazing. So, like, all right, it's like, why haven't you been buying these things? The main reason is because they were expensive. That's reason number one. There's also another reason. But what I've realized is that, over the last 20 years, I'll go in and out of this market just based on what's going on in some of the dynamics. So, in these last couple of years, it was just really expensive. Other times, I'll go out because there's just not a lot of quality deals. There were some really quality deals, but just based on the economy, people searching for ROI, and then just the supply that was there, there was a lot of demand. Well, we're hitting a recession, and people started tightening up. So there's just a lot of deals, and over the last couple of years, I've still kept my pulse, but on the market, but I just have not seen anything that looked interesting. But now it's looking great. So I just made and my first acquisition 2 weeks ago. I've got another one that we just put under contract. So there's a lot of deals to be made. And once I shift my strategy, I like to share with y'all why I'm shifting. Now I mentioned that how expensive the market was and the amount of supply and all that, and just demand was increased. Well, that was the first reason. The second reason was at the same time as I have been sharing with y'all, there have been a tremendous number of baby boomer deals that have come on the market and were just absolute rock bottom. We've gotten a bunch of clients last year. Just we closed a lot of deals for our clients in acquisition holdco, and just very very beautiful opportunities that existed in that market. And that market is still there. So that market is still there. There's still tons of those opportunities, and now we have even more supply coming to the market with these internet based businesses. And like I said, the tides are always changing. This is a very much an ever changing market. So if you want to do these deals, you want to get in and do them when things are when there are a lot of opportunities. And probably for the next 9 months or so, we're going to be in one of those time periods, which means you can go after your target, do those deals, and be in them before the tide does change. Now, the really beautiful thing that I love is because you do see these multiples in this market change up and down a lot more than you do when you're in offline deals. Offline deals kind of just stay the same multiple wise, but there's this really cool arbitrage opportunity that exists when you're able to get into these deals when we're kind of in a recession or in economic uncertainties, or just people are getting great returns somewhere else. So that's one of the things that's happening right now. It's like, man, I've got money that's just sitting in money markets and that kind of thing. And money markets paying like 5.5%, which is kind of crazy. So just when you're in certain times and you can't get that ROI like we were a couple of years ago, then these other things become more attractive. When we're in times like we are right now, they actually become less attractive. So it's a complicated thing. The bottom line is that's important to us is that all of these dynamics lead to really great deals, especially in the specific target market that I'm going after that I'll talk about today with these deals. So one of the things that I think is important is, I talk about the tides changing. I've ridden these waves more times than I can count. And it's important to know I've had some amazing wins, but I've also had some losses. And the thing that I've learned is that the most valuable lesson to learn in this whole game is being able to get creative to turn losses into wins. But I'll tell you something straight up. In this game, most of the time you're either hitting the jackpot or you're hitting rock bottom. And the key, it really boils down to understanding the business and then choosing correctly the deal that you choose to close on. So, over these last 8 years of me working with clients, I've had the honor of helping hundreds of individuals get deals done, but more importantly, like take a pretty cool step towards financial freedom by acquiring really great top tier businesses, both online and offline. So a lot of those businesses were internet based deals, and the real magic basically lies in not having to start from scratch. So, today's digital landscape, especially, is tougher than ever. Starting any kind of business is tough, but there's just no point in reinventing the wheel when you can go and buy an internet business instead of having to start from scratch. You can start with a very solid foundation. And even if you're looking to build something else, what I tell people is every deal is kind of like can be a building block towards you building the business that you want, even if it's just being able to take the cash flow and then invest that in something else. So I think these deals are great to build your holdco, build your own personal portfolio. And then the next part of this that I think is really interesting was a big lesson for me, is that the goal is really the exit. It's not the cash flow. I think cash flow is very much a kind of a poor mentality, as crazy as that sounds. It's a poor mentality. Like people who are really focused on cash flow, it's because we're taught that cash flow is what's going to pay your bills. So if you're an employee, you're just used to having a deposit that comes in at a certain amount of time. Now, we all know that that's not how the wealthy operate, right? And deep down inside, we understand that, but we're not comfortable with the reality of how you want to make money if you want to be wealthy and if you want to make money like a wealthy person, right? So let's talk about the why behind this. And I don't want to make this, there's a lot of levels to go through talking about that, but just at the most basic level, we'll just do one level of the reality. If we don't think about anything else, the bottom line is you don't want cash flow. You want to have the exit. You want to have these exit events because cash flow is taxed higher. So your tax income gets income tax. When you're exiting something, you're getting capital gains tax. And so there are other things like even just the risk. Like if I'm growing something, I'm putting the cash flow into the business to really grow something and then have an eventual exit that's massive. I'm actually I take less risks. So actually we'll go two levels. I said we just go one. So one is just you don't want the cash flow because you're paying the highest form of taxes. You don't want that. The second part is that the exit is actually less risky because you're putting the money into instead of taking that money out and then sending a bunch of it 40% to the government. You're growing this business, and if you structure it correctly, you're only paying 10%. So if you're putting that money back in the business, and each one of those dollars should have a return. So if you're putting that into the business, instead of taking it out losing 40%, you really should be getting at least 100% on every dollar. So you're doubling every dollar by reinvesting into the business and growing it by that much instead of only getting 6%. So it's almost like you're quadrupling. You're quadrupling the amount of wealth that you're creating by focusing on the exit instead of focusing on trying to take out a little bit of money every month to pay the bills. Now, we know you got to have something that's going to pay the bills, but the real goal of these deals is you really want to have both. You want to have the deal that is just focused on, I'm going to grow this thing. I'm going to max out the valuation. I'm going to exit. I'm going to have a big exit. And that's where all of the wealthy people, their money did not come from cash flow. Their money came from having a business and then exiting it. They exited by taking on the market. They exited by selling to a private equity firm. All of them. There's you don't get to that serious amount of wealth just doing cash flow, even if it's just because the taxman is coming to take all that money. So I think that's important to just a shift, and that I mean, obviously, you can buy these things and just to get the cash flow, but there's a huge opportunity to be able to buy these things grow them, and then exit and have a big flush of tax advantaged cash come in. So I want to talk about which model. That's really the purpose of this video. Sorry for that sidetrack. So which business model I am focused on and what I think you should be adding to your whole co or your portfolio. Now, first, I want to talk about the four types of businesses that you want to have in your inside of your holding company. The first type is your landing media. So this is media, but it's media that you're making money off of. So this would be like an affiliate website. It would be content that you're going to make money from, but you're sending people there. Now, that's juxtaposed to the promo media. So, promo media is the thing that is sending traffic. So, that would be like your Instagram accounts, that YouTube accounts. So, you're going to buy those assets and then you're going to send it to the landing media. So you have those two types of media, which are very different. You want both. And when we're doing the acquisition of the internet deals, those are the types of deals that I'm really focused on. The types of deals that I am focused on is the landing media deals. Now, the other types of businesses that you're going to have within your holdco are the deals where you're really focused on the flips we just talked about. Your goal should be to have you want more deals that you're focused on flipping than the cash flow, because we just went through some of those reasons. There's probably a dozen other reasons that is just the way the world works. It's the government builds things based on what wealthy people want, and so that you want to make sure you're doing things the way that they basically tell you. I tell you all the time, like the laws and the tax code is basically a roadmap. The government is saying, hey, if you want to be wealthy, do things this way. If you want to be poor, do things this way, right? Like they're literally giving you the roadmap. And most people just say, hey, I'm going to keep thinking like a poor person, right? So when it comes to the two types of deals that you're having outside of the two types of media, is you're going to have deals that you're flipping and then the deals of cash flow. You should have way more deals that you're focused on reinvesting and flipping than the cash flow. You just really want the bare minimum on the cash flow because, again, you're paying the most amount of money out on those. It's the most risky. So you just don't want those deals. If you're in the acquisition holdco program, I'm really excited. We've got a training. We're going to talk a little bit so that y'all can start to map out the types of deals that you're going to be going after, right? So before we jump into the nitty gritty of some of these deals that we're doing and working on, I want you to kind of think a little bit about how you can go after these deals and structure them in a way that makes sure that you're getting a good business. So when I am going after these content deals, the first thing that I'm looking for is stability. Like I want a stable business that it can be growing a little bit. I don't need it to be skyrocketing, but I don't want it to just be very choppy. Like some people are, they see the history and it's going up and down, and they're like, oh, it's on a big uptrend, but it's like, yeah, but it may come back down. So I would rather have something that's just like this and stay steady than something that makes the exact amount of money, or maybe it makes even more money, but it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. The I do love to look at the traffic, and so when it comes to these deals, something that I love is that you just can see everything. It's very difficult with an internet business to see everything. Like obviously with the offline business to see everything. Like obviously we're getting the tax returns and POS system reporting and the financials and the SOPs and all that stuff. But it's very difficult to really dig into the nitty gritty. With the internet business, we can get the Google Analytics. We're looking at all of the traffic. We see exactly where the traffic came from. We're looking at the merchant account. We're looking at the affiliate history. It's just, I do love due diligence on internet businesses way more than offline, just because you can dig into some really deep numbers. Now, when it comes to traffic, I don't like to buy businesses that are declining, because now I got to try to do that extra work on reversing that declining. trend. I just don't want to put that extra work. I want to be working on growing the business, figuring out the exit strategy plan, figuring out what types of other complementary businesses we can go out and acquire. I don't want to have to sit around and figure out, okay, how can we reverse this and keep this thing from dying. So I don't like to do deals. Now, here is the part as far as the targets. For me personally, when it comes to niches, I want to target deals that are in spaces where the audience is really valuable. Because when you have a really valuable audience that a lot of people are willing to pay a lot of money to go after, what you end up with is a lot of ways to monetize that traffic or that database of people, right? So, if you've got a lot of people, obviously you can make money off the display ads, you can make money off of the affiliate ads, you can make money just selling them a product. People want to do JVs and that kind of thing. So personally, I do love deals that are in the financial niches because those audiences tend to be a gold mine. There are a lot of people willing to pay a lot of money to reach and get access to people that are interested in that. The other part, though, and something just not to sleep on, are emotionally driven niches. So, I was recently, I've talked about the art deal that we did. It's just such a great business. We did a cooking deal. Great, but like people forget, like there are people that are passionate. There's a reason you go to YouTube and there's like all these cooking channels. Go to Instagram, there are all these cooking people. Things like babies. It's not necessarily that it's like just a passion or a but people are obviously just emotionally motivated to get their babies whatever they want. Pets are another one. Like some hobbies are just very intense. So looking at those places like that, passion gets people to open up their wallet without a second thought. Now, size is another thing that comes up. I love both small deals and large deals, but for very different reasons. So small deals, it's great to get those deals because you're able to diversify. I think in this space, when it comes to internet deals, being able to diversify based on your budget is really powerful. And you can't go and buy an offline business for 50,000. It's really making any money. But for internet deals, like we've done internet deals that maybe generating a couple thousand a month. And for a lot of people, that's like, okay, I can pay my bills, which again, that's really one of those things where it's like when it comes to the cash flow, I want to make the minimum amount, like we talked about, and then that allows me to go out and do the real deal that's going to build wealth. So you want to kind of have that. Now, the other side of that, if I'm doing a bigger deal, a lot of times I'm doing that bigger deal because it is a little bit more passive. So it's one of the things on the bigger deals, it's tougher to grow those. So if I'm doing that small $100,000 deal, it's going to be a lot easier to get an ROI by quadrupling that to 400,000. On the $1 million deal, it gets a lot tougher to quadruple $1 million deal. It's a bigger thing. You got more work to do to be able to grow that. Finally, we'll talk a little bit about the source of income. For me, affiliate income is great when it comes to the content. We were doing this deal that was a tool business. And it had a affiliate income, it had display ad income. You got in that space you can do some training on using specific tools and that kind of thing, and so you can start to add all of these different types of income. So those are the different things to consider. That's the type of deal that I would go after, the business model, the niche, breaking all of that down for y'all. If you're interested in these types of deals and you want to secure the very best internet business for your portfolio or your holding company, listen, me and my team at Good Manager are here to make magic happen for each of our clients. So reach out. Let's turn your dreams into reality. Thanks for popping in. As always, remember this: fortune favors the bold. I know a lot of y'all have been hanging out on the sidelines watching this content and that kind of thing, but I think it's time to make some moves this year. I think there's some really cool opportunities out there, and I want to make sure you are moving towards success. So, cheers to the deals that you're going to close and to the growth of your assets, your cash flow, and your equity. Talk to y'all soon.